Well, I would like to apologise to Tony Mullins for what happened 2 months ago. Yeah, for those of you who watch my hour-and-a-half video on Troy, there was another one 2 months ago that went for about 50 minutes. And I was busting to get it out, and I gave him a copy of it via email and didn't really say put it up, and then he didn't put it up because I didn't say put it up. And then I said, try and put it up as quick as you can. And I was busting, going flat out on my computer one morning before work and put it up, and then it wouldn't show because the first bunch of YouTube videos that you upload, it will only give you 15 minutes worth of length for those videos. And then after a certain amount of time, you can have videos a lot longer. And this was 50 minutes. And then I worked out how to get past that. And then went and spammed on his channel the link to it in his comment section. And, the whole time I was biting his ankle like a Jack Russell trying to get him to put it up, and he's busy trying to drive a truck, and he had work biting his ankle, me biting his ankle, and it was all a bit too much for him there. But, it was a miscommunication, and it was me being impatient. And I'd like to say sorry for that, but as some of you know, I'm very highly motivated, and I felt I had to get this off my chest really fast. And then when he said that OGN was cancelled, and everybody started blaming me, I just thought, shit, I can't fight a war against Troy and a war against Tony Mullen and his subscribers all in one hit. So I sort of went into my shell there for about 2 months, because being a former hermit, it's quite easy to just revert back into my shell. But yeah, anyway, that sort of, he was having a bit of a panic day. We all get some of those days. I'm probably going to have one tomorrow. But yeah, it's the way it goes. But I would like to recommend to him sometimes, before making rash decisions, especially when you're under stress, anger, shock, pissed off, or even overexcited, it's best to sort of let everything calm down before you announce anything on YouTube. I would give him that advice, because I used to announce what I was going to do at one point, and then I'd change my mind, and then I'd change, I'll work out more efficient ways to get rid of weeds, or to fix a certain problem or whatever, or achieve a certain thing. And, people were like helter-skelter. They didn't know what I was doing. Sometimes I'd announce projects, and then I'd realise I had bigger priorities and more important things to deal with, and then the projects would never get done. And before you know it, you sound like Troy. Oh, look at this thing, big hype. Oh, look at that thing. Oh, look at that. And jumping from one project to another and never finishing any of them, And it's sort of, it's one of these things that I think it's, some things need to be, you got to wait for all the dust to settle, so to speak, before you announce some things. But what he said was, I really like the fact he promotes my stuff, and I probably should promote his more. And I think in a way, it was a bit of an over build-up, an over hype, an over promotion of that 50-minute video. People may have been expecting a lot more than what come out, because it was a very shabby, with almost no references, version of the hour-and-a-half video I'd done. But the hour-and-a-half video, believe me, is a really well detailed explanation. But in that, he also mentions that he said that basically people don't have enough patience to sit there listening to 30 minutes of stuff. And I understand that, but I like to explain things in great detail. I also believe that a lot of the people that have come on board have only come on board in the last 6 or 9 months, and may not, a lot of them weren't around back before the off-grid apartheid started. None of them can remember when Doc and Troy were still friends. I can, And so I've got to sort of explain the creation of the off-grid apartheid and the rubber stamping of trolls, people just being rubber stamped as trolls, and where all that originated from. And some things do take a long explanation. I would like to point out that some things you can explain very quickly, but then nobody really quite understands it. I can say that the monetary system is basically a Ponzi scheme that's only held together by essentially an ever-increasing population, but more importantly, ever-increasing debt. And the fact that some nations are becoming developed, like India and China, and as a result taking on more debt. And money is only created off the back of more debt and fractional reserve banking. Now, I've explained the monetary system very simply in 20 or 30 seconds. But you're going to sit there going, yeah, but how the bloody hell's it a Ponzi scheme? What exactly is fractional reserve banking? How the hell can more debt make more money? It's a simple answer. Subprime mortgage-backed securities. It's a security which a currency is almost like it's a financial instrument, a currency, and a security is a financial instrument as well. I'm getting too technical. But this is the thing. If I were to explain this in detail, the most detailed version of explaining the monetary system I've ever seen was done by Mike Maloney, an extremely condensed and summarised one that had certain bits chopped out just to simplify it. It was a 45-minute explanation that was so fast-paced I was battling to get my head around it. It's very... And some things are, if you explain it simply, if you say that, Troy is saying his batteries are dead when his voltages are fine, and, he's playing a lame duck act to get sympathy and donations, and he's deliberately being incompetent, people go, oh, yeah, well, you explain that in 10 seconds, but give me examples of, these things. How is he faking his battery voltages? Why, what's the real voltages supposed to be? How do you know he's not just misguided himself? Well, the days when he was back in the camper, he knew what they were. It's sort of some things to fully understand them. You need to be able to listen to half an hour or more of bullshit. Not bullshit, but, detailed stuff. Because you won't believe it if it comes out really quickly. And I also believe that a lot of people would just go straight into denial. My sister's got a psychology degree. The first thing most people do with anything that is a big shock or a big change or particularly a large drop of trust, they go into denial. And plenty of times they make excuses for the other person that they almost, you're sure they know aren't true, But, and I've seen that, not just myself doing it, but I've seen other people doing it in other situations in my family, and sort of sometimes you've got to have a very detailed explanation for these people, not just to throw into denial straight away. And I know I've lost a few subscribers because of that, but at the end of the day, it looks like I've gained more than I had originally. A particular strong supporter of Troy's, she told me that I was going to lose subscribers, of people thinking unsubscribing, because of the egg video, and I better hurry up and make an apology to Troy to make sure I didn't lose those subscribers. Okay then. At the end of all this hour and a half long expose of, you know, the reality behind the facade of Troy, I've got more subscribers than I started with. Some of those are people who sort of couldn't tolerate my tolerance of Troy, you know, who have decided to subscribe. And it's good to have you all on board and whatnot. And hopefully me and Tony can forge ahead on in the future. I should give him a plug while I'm here. What he does, he's a truck driver, hillbilly, drives through the United States. He's got a lot of knowledge on hillbilly related things. He's worked in coal mining before as well. And he watches all the different off-grid channels and then makes a summary of it. So instead of going onto someone's video and watching, I don't know, 55 minutes of something that still sort of was lacking in content or whatever, he'll watch it and then give you a summary of what's going on. So you can watch him talk for maybe only 10 minutes and then decide what video out of all the different ones is probably worth watching and what ones aren't down your alley. He often throws in a bit of his knowledge of the subject of whatever's being shown, especially if he thinks it's bullshit. and he doesn't hold back on a bit of criticism. And, you know, if he knows anything about it, you know, he'll put in his 2 bob about what he reckons with it all. And yeah, it's a good little segment and especially useful if you don't want to find that you've spent 50 minutes watching something with no content. So he's good at summarising it and puts in his own opinion and his stuff from his own experience. And, you know, the other thing is if there's any research, he will actually look into it. When it comes out with stuff regarding rumours about Troy, he will not be the man to stand there and rattle off rumours that he can't back up. He researches every bloody thing and checks up on it before he comes out with it. So you can be assured that it's not some random rumour when he says that Nomadic Fanatic has the criminal record. And then he'll show you the exact flaming things on his record. You know? It's unbelievable. And it's great that he actually does look into stuff before he just sort of comes out with stuff that he can't back up and whatnot. But it's a great little segment. He just lists it as OGN, stands for Off Grid News, and then he has the date. And I'm sure he'll appear in the comments, and you can click on his avatar and have a look at his channel.